Some of the recent changes in the sporting world in regards to team names, maybe accelerated a little bit the decision to look at making a change.
Tonight, sports name changes in pro and minor leagues.
I just kind of figured that I'd be stagnant for a long time before I kick-started my art career, and so I'm pretty happy, grateful. I'm pretty grateful to be where I am now.
And we meet the Coast Salish artist who's painting downtown Vancouver's newest mural. Good evening, I'm Dennis Ward. Welcome to APTN National News. We begin in the world of sports tonight. Washington's NFL franchise announced a temporary name change today as the club distanced itself from its former controversial name and logo. For now, the team will be known simply as the Washington Football Team. In the world of Major League Baseball, the owner of the Cleveland team says he will be meeting with Native American leaders to discuss the team's name going forward. Closer to home, one major junior league hockey team has decided to change its name. As Brittany Hobson shows us, the team is welcoming the move.
The Nipawa Natives are no more, or at least the name is. The Junior Hockey League team voted to drop their name this week, according to General Manager Ken Pearson.
The board just wanted to stay ahead of the curve and look at maybe a fresh start. The team has lots of history, good and bad, and I think it's an opportunity for a rebrand and a fresh start.
Contentious team names and mascots has been at the forefront of media coverage for the past several weeks. After years of mounting pressure from Indigenous groups, professional football teams in Edmonton and Washington decided to drop their offensive names.
Some of the recent changes in the sporting world in regards to team names, maybe accelerated a little bit the decision to look at making a change.
The junior team was founded in 1989, but the name itself came 2 decades earlier with the creation of the town's intermediate team. Pearson, who is part of the newly formed junior team in '89, says he's happy to lead the name change.
There's some mixed emotions, obviously, but I think that I'm also excited to embrace and kind of help usher in a new era of Nipawa hockey.
Southern Chiefs organization Grand Chief Jerry Daniels is not surprised to see these smaller leagues address their names. The association representing teams in the province announced last week they would be looking at revising regulations so they can compel teams to drop controversial names.
Because it's being challenged now at a larger level internationally, you see more localized responses to that. And I think that that's hugely important because it's going to change the thinking. And decades from now, these kinds of things will be understood to be something that shouldn't be said, shouldn't be done.
But is changing a name enough to address ongoing racism on or off the ice? Daniel says teams need to take things one step further to ensure Indigenous people excel in the sporting world.
It's one part of addressing racism in the system. There's lots of institutions that we have to address, and it takes partnership, it takes collaboration, relationship building.
Daniels recently met with the mayor of Morden, who is in favor of the men's senior team changing their controversial name. The owner has committed to conducting a review, but no word yet on when that will be completed. Pearson and the Nipawa team are in the process of speaking with Indigenous alumni and stakeholders, among others, to come up with a new team name. Brittany Hobson, APTN National News, Winnipeg.
A former band manager at the Clearwater River Dene Nation in northern Saskatchewan has been charged with defrauding the community of more than $1 million. LaLoche and Prince Albert RCMP announced the charges Wednesday. It followed a 6-year investigation and forensic audit. The man charged was the general manager from 2008 until 2011. 61-year-old Johnny Chicham of LaLoche is set to make his first court appearance on the fraud charges on September 21st. People in the far north of Saskatchewan are facing the worst flooding they've seen in years. Residents say roads are almost flooded out and water is threatening their homes. And as Priscilla Wolf tells us, the situation is expected to get worse.
Robert Ray from the Sandy Bay First Nation says he's concerned that his community will flood. There's record high levels in the waterways, and the nearby Island Falls Dam is overflowing. Sask Power expects water to keep rising until August. Ray says he's not sure what will happen next.
Sask Power and the leaders of our community met and made a plan, an emergency plan. That was approximately 3 days ago. No plan, no information has went to the public yet.
Chief Peter Beattie of the Peter Ballantyne First Nation says he was advised that the water near his community won't peak until the end of July.
Most of the impact right now is being felt on the Reindeer River because there is a dam. It's called the White Sand Dam. They use it as a reservoir holding dam for the power station that's on the Churchill River, because the Reindeer River runs into the Churchill River.
Chief Beattie says they have not declared a state of emergency, but he's not ruling that out.
It's something that's unprecedented. There have been high water events previously, but not to this extent. The power generating station at Sandy Bay is where all of the water goes. Those gates have been opened. And so there's going to be flooding issues downstream.
Beattie says that the Sandy Bay community upstream is now trying to keep the road into the community from washing out.
There's issues with some parts of the road leading into Sandy Bay, access road. Highways is trying to mitigate that by building up the road a bit higher than it is, so that it doesn't wash out.
Priscilla Wolf, APTN National News, Saskatoon.
Canadian researchers are getting a first-hand look at how many people have actually been infected by COVID-19. The new study suggests that less than 1% of Canadians have been infected. The results were released by Canadian Blood Services and Canada's COVID-19 Immunity Task Force. The data comes from 10,000 blood donor samples. One of the researchers, Professor Catherine Henkin, says the data reveals that a vast majority of Canadians are still vulnerable. The findings will be updated when the full sample of donations has been analyzed. Meanwhile, the U.S. is expecting to confirm its 4 millionth case of COVID-19 sometime today.
At the end of the game, I'm not even sure we're halfway through.
There are now more than 422,000 cases in California, with more than 162,000 of those cases in Los Angeles County. Health officials say growing numbers are linked to gatherings. Several states, including Texas, are on the verge of another lockdown, while other hotspots like Florida are getting ready to reopen schools. Still to come, a major snub in the world of lacrosse. Stick around. Here's a look at your Friday weather forecast starting on the East Coast. 24 and showers in Charlottetown, rain and 25 for Halifax. 16 with rain in Nain, 24 for Happy Valley Goose Bay with showers. 29 under sunny skies in Montreal, 28 in Val-d'Or and Saguenay. 27 for Toronto, 29 and sunny in Ottawa. 26 for Thunder Bay, showers, and 29 in Sioux Lookout. 15 with rain in Churchill, 28 with showers for the Paw. 33 with rain for Gimli and Winnipeg, 32 with showers for Dauphin. 29 and sunny skies in Regina, 30 and sunny for Yorkton. 20 with showers in Uranium City, 25 and rain in La Ronge. Welcome back. Systemic racism in policing is undoubtedly a hot topic. And to study it, a parliamentary committee has scheduled 8 hours of witnesses. Todd Lamarand is at today's meeting where a common theme was answering the question, how do you restore trust?
Beyond the recent police shootings of Chantal Moore and Rodney Levi, the police, and more specifically the RCMP, have taken children away, slaughtered sled dogs, and relocated Inuit people.
We call the RCMP Nulchuckin. And Nulchuckin, interpreted in our language, is those who take us away.
John McKay is chair of the Public Safety Committee. He heard from witness after witness after witness how Indigenous people have a strained relationship with police. Nunavut Tungavik President Aluki Kotiark gave the Inuit perspective.
The RCMP force does not understand our culture, nor does it understand our language, as demonstrated by the ratio of Inuit to non-Inuit officers in Nunavut. There is no wonder that there is a relationship of distrust between Nunavut Inuit and the RCMP.
Inuit Tapiri Kanatami President Natan Obed blames policing through stereotypes.
And without a relationship between the RCMP and the community, Inuits aren't seen as people, but we're seen through all the negative lenses that perhaps general Canadian society thinks of when they think of Inuit.
Committee members such as Liberal MP Greg Fergus heard plenty of recommendations. Recruit more Indigenous people as RCMP officers, but it's been difficult.
Inuit and further field Indigenous people won't feel that our federal policing services is a safe place for them to make a career.
To ask an Indigenous person to train in a colonial form of policing to police their own communities is really to ask them to adopt an internal identity struggle before they even have their first day on the job.
Terry McCaffrey is Chief of Police for Wikwemikong. He said Indigenous controlled police are culturally sensitive and don't have recruitment problems.
What it boils down to is our community supports us. So because of that, we're able to work with our community and build recruiting sessions.
McCaffrey also echoed what AFN Regional Chief TG said earlier.
In most Indigenous cultures and languages, when you talk about police, it's the man that takes you away. We changed the name of our police service here to be Enagduenjigit, which means those that help.
Chairman McKay and the rest of the committee will resume the systemic racism in police study on Friday. Paul Lamoran, APTN National News, Ottawa.
Have you ever experienced racism at the hands of police? We'd like to hear from you. Here's how you can continue the conversation. You can send your emails to us at news@aptn.ca. Find us online at aptnnews.ca and on youtube.com/aptnnews. You can also follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram for the latest Indigenous news. Fern is circulating a petition asking the 8 teams entered into an international lacrosse tournament to pull out, including Team Canada. That's because tournament organizers are not allowing the Iroquois Nationals to compete next year in Alabama, even though they've competed as a nation in previous years, even winning the bronze medal in 2018. Fern is from the Glooscap First Nation in Nova Scotia and plays lacrosse.
The whole idea behind this petition is to kind of write to the World Games and to show that the whole entire lacrosse community, not just the Indigenous folk, are kind of behind the idea and supporting that this isn't right and this is an injustice. And I think that, it's that simple. It's just the idea behind the petition is to bring everyone together all on the same page and help the World Games understand that this is an inclusion. It's not fair.
The wait is over for the NHL's newest team. The Seattle expansion franchise now has a name.
We are proud to give you the Seattle Kraken.
Kraken is a sea creature of Scandinavian folklore. It beat out options like Sockeyes, Evergreens, or Metropolitans, a nod to the Seattle's original franchise. The big reveal included a video about the city and its hockey history. More than 1,000 names were submitted by fans over the past 2 years. Pretty cool logo. Sticking with the hockey theme, this next story is an encore feature from earlier in the year with a young up-and-coming hockey player from Peguis First Nation. As Daryl Stranger shows us, Colby Bear left home to chase a dream, and so far, it's paying off.
Kobe Bear is a tall, rangy, gifted winger with the Pilot Mound Buffaloes Hockey Academy. Located in a tiny urban community in southwestern Manitoba with less than 700 people, the Buffaloes play in the Canadian Sports School Hockey League for elite-level student athletes.
I would say I'm more of a playmaker, so that means I'm usually getting the assist more other than the goal.
Buffalo's general manager Rod Collins remembers seeing those traits in Bear while recruiting.
He's got special hockey skills and sense that not everybody has, and those are things that are hard to teach. Obviously, we can develop him physically and his skating and that type of thing, but he had good skills and good hockey sense, and that really impressed me.
Bear hails from Peguis, Manitoba's biggest First Nation with roughly 10,000 members. He leans on traditional teachings from his community to help him get through hard times.
It really teaches you to, keep going, because the Sundance, it's pretty hard to accomplish that. Going 4 days without water or food, it's pretty accomplishing, and it's really important, and it teaches you stay strong and keep going, and that's what really taught me was just to keep going and just finish it and just get through it,
He fell in love with the game at home, and it was here where he and his family realized hockey will take him places.
I guess when he was in his second year AAA Bantam, he wanted to pursue Pilot Mound Hockey Academy. He read about it. Other boys were going there that he knew.
It was hard on my thinking anyway as a mother, he was my firstborn son. I never imagined that he would be moving home or planning to move home, away from home when he was 16 or 15 years old. But we realized, that he had a dream, and his dream was to go as far as he could go in hockey. And we knew that staying home at that point and that age in his life, that he needed to move on to reach that dream.
Bears head coach Rick McConnell believes much more lies ahead for the young playmaker.
I think he's progressed immensely, and he's going to continue to improve because he's just got that mindset. He's driven, he wants to get better, so the sky's the limit for him. You never know where it can take him. He's got a bright future if he wants it.
That's kind of what I want to do, is go to that D1 route instead of the WHL route. The Division 1 is they focus more on the school part and not so much as WHL.
Time to step aside for another quick break, but here's a look at what's coming up.
I'm Sarah Connors, and later on APTN National News, we'll meet the young artist behind the street mural and find out why she's making a name for herself in the Northwest Coast art scene.
I just kind of figured that I'd be stagnant for a long time before I kick-started my art career, and so I'm pretty happy, grateful. I'm pretty grateful to be where I am now.
Here's a look at the rest of your Friday weather forecast, picking back up in northern Alberta. 21 with showers in Fort Chip, 19 with sunny skies and high level. 30 in Medicine Hat under sunny skies, 20 and showers for Edmonton. On the west coast, 21 with showers for Vancouver, sunny, and 21 in Victoria. 20 with rain for Fort Nelson and Dease Lake. 18 with showers in Old Crow, 20 in Whitehorse. 15 and rain for Yellowknife, 23 in Norman Wells. 9 with rain for Sax Harbor, 12 and showers for Pawlatuck. 15 in Chesterfield, 16 in Whale Cove. 15 in Resolute, 19 in Igloolik. Welcome back. Downtown Vancouver has a new mural in the works, which will pay tribute to British Columbia's rivers and the salmon that live in them. As Sarah Connors tells us, the young artist behind the mural is just as impressive as the work itself.
Meet 21-year-old Kwantlen and Coast Salish artist Athena Pika. The city of Vancouver has commissioned her to paint a Northwest Coast mural in the city's downtown core. But that's not the only accomplishment she has under her belt. Pika's murals can be seen at a college, a secondary school, and even on the side of a house in Vancouver. At 18, she was the youngest artist ever to paint in the Vancouver Mural Festival. It's a recognition she's still getting used to.
When I was in high school, I had no idea what I was like, I'm going to work in retail for the rest of my life. I just kind of figured that I'd be stagnant for a long time before I kick-started my art career. And so I'm pretty happy, grateful. I'm pretty grateful to be where I am now. And I'm looking forward to expanding and going into different directions in my practice.
Pika was fascinated with art as a child, and as she got older, she began to use art to explore her Indigenous and European ancestry.
Sort of to do with identity, I guess. It's sort of a grounding sort of thing for me, because I'm Indigenous Fijian, but I'm not growing up in Fiji, and I'm Czechoslovakian, but I don't look like it, and so it's a kind of a combination of where I'm growing up, what I was surrounded with when I was growing up. Northwest Coast art has such a, Coast Salish art as well. It all has such a strong energy to it that I really admire.
Pika's murals explore environmental issues and how they affect BC's First Nations. With some help from her friends, this mural will eventually show river streams and salmon, a warning concerning BC's depleting salmon numbers.
I want to inspire others to make art and to learn about their culture and learn about where they are, because I think there's a certain responsibility that settlers should kind of have to learn about where they are, what significant places are around, and how you can be a good community member as a whole.
And while she isn't sure just yet what the future will hold, she says for right now, she's happy making art that not only educates, but inspires.
I had no idea where I'd be, and I'm quite happy to be where I am.
Sarah Connors, APTN National News, Vancouver.
Some really great work. Loved those murals on the side of the houses. That is your APTN National News for this Thursday. For much more, you can visit our website, aptnnews.ca. And you can stay up to date with the very latest by downloading the APTN News app. I'm Dennis Ward. Thanks for tuning in. Have a great night.